Previously on Green Aqua. Disaster strikes. Tommy's hardscape collapses.
There's gonna be some blood in the water. Seems. Hello everyone. Well, what's happening today is I have an empty 60 centimeter cabinet at home. We've had this tank behind the shop, not in this condition. It was really bad. If you remember it, we've built this with Balazs. I don't even know when. It was a long time ago. That was a Paludarium style stuff. And I've always wanted a waterfall terrarium. So I have free time. Let's build it. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. What you see here is a tank laying on its side. So this would be its length, which is 60 centimeters. This is its depth, which is 30, and the height is it's 90, if I remember correctly. The front glass is quite high because this was a Paludarium, which means basically there was an aquarium on the bottom side and then we had terrestrial stuff on the top. This is going to be different. I won't have an aquarium, but I need a lot of space for water, so I don't have to refill it too often. And then I'm going to cover this basically so that this part won't be visible in the finished product. I also have a hole in the back side, which is going to be perfect to introduce some cold mist. And yeah, that's it. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to build a chamber in the backside where there's going to be an Eheim 1000 compact on water pump on the bottom. It's going to push up the water to the top of the chamber where there's going to be a small box holding a lot of water with a cutout on top where the water falls out. The forward-facing side of the chamber is going to have two small edges to lead the water down to the same place where it's coming from. And all this is going to be built around with some lava stone, and the holes in between the lava stone are going to be filled out with hydralon, which is really good for leading water from one spot to another. So this way everything is going to be wet and humid and moist all the time, which is perfect for keeping mosses in an environment like this because, of course, the front is open, the top is open, so there's going to be a lot of dry air around it, but all the wetness inside is going to be enough for them. And that is for today. Actually, the glue needs a lot of time to dry, about 24 hours, so we're gonna revisit all this probably tomorrow or next week or whenever we have time.
I'm gonna tell you that I love you 100 times a day. Tell you that I miss you.
This step was only installed to prevent the water falling out of the container while testing, so I'm gonna remove this. It's not gonna be actually part of the build. Instead, I'm gonna install the water pump on it. Oh, it's perfect. I have this weird thing which is called a false bottom, and this goes onto the bottom of the terrarium. This cutout is for the water pump to fit, so I can remove it if there's any problems later on with it. I need to clean it or something like that. What this does is I'm gonna cover it with some gardening textile. This way I can pour some soil around it so I don't see this ugly white thing from the front and the sides of the terrarium, but it's gonna let the water fall through it, and this way the pump can suck the water from all the bottom area, which means I'm gonna have a lot of water inside, because the waterfall, it makes a lot of evaporation, so I would lose water level quite quickly, and after that obviously the water pump would stop without water. But this way I can have 30 or 40 liters of water is gonna fit in here, so it's gonna run for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks, we're gonna see, before needing to refill. There's gonna be some blood in the water, it seems. Be much more careful than I am if you do this.
I tell your friends, I tell your family, I'm gonna let everyone know about my love, so I really hope you love me too. Yeah,
I have some dinosaurs to help me out.
yeah, I really hope you love me too. 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 Yeah, I really hope you love me too.
So the pump and the false bottom is in place. Now I'm gonna straighten it up and start building the hardscape, well, the waterfall itself. This is gonna be the leading path of the waterfall itself. If you're curious about the stuff I'm using, I have no idea what this is. Actually, when our friend Stephen Chong visited us last year, he brought this stuff with himself. It looks like the regular pad you would put on underneath your aquarium, but it's crispy, it's breaking, it's more like a piece of plastic. So yeah, it's, as far as I know, it's not available in Europe. You can see a lot of guys on YouTube using this stuff in Asia, but yeah, I'm glad we had some leftovers from Steven, so cheers buddy, thank you. I'm gonna glue this on here, and this is gonna need some support from the back as well. The leading way is glued in. I don't need this to be stable on the back side. This is just to support. Next step is I'm gonna need the edges glued on as well. Also just to lead the water to the right direction. So the gluing we've done is not perfectly cured yet, but it's stable enough that I can put some more glue on this, and I'm going to start to put in very small bits of lava stone, because the whole build is going to be lava stone, but we want this bit covered as well, but with very small pieces of rocks. This is going to be the actual waterfall part. Now this needs at least 24 hours to completely cure. Then we can stand it up and see if it holds, and then we can get on to the big hardscape, the bigger rocks all around it. Yeah. As you guys can clearly see, I guess, We're a few weeks later, actually. This is not the quickest project I've ever done. We are doing it once a week. And now it's time to test out the waterfall itself. When I start the pump, it's gonna first of all fill up this container, and then it's gonna start to overflow on this edge, hopefully. Okay, it's a bit too much. The pump seems to be a bit too powerful. This is an Eheim 1000. I think I'm gonna switch to 600. Oh, and it's on the minimum setting, so this is the least powerful it can go. Okay, now that I checked, it actually makes more sense to put in a single tap instead of replacing the pump. That will also make it easier later on to take it out if I ever need to. So yeah, I'm gonna go get a tap. There is actually very minimal leakage through the gluing actually on the bottom part, but I don't really worry about that because it just falls back to the same place, and it's really very, very minimal. This whole thing needs to be movable because I actually want to bring it home, and at the moment these rocks are, well, really far from stable. So liquid glue, paper towel, and I'm gonna glue them one by one, which is gonna take forever. But I can't even build up more because it would just fall down without it, so that's the only way. It's not really a job for my patience, but there's no way around it. I'm done with the, well, let's call it hardscape. It's all glued together. Every piece of rock is glued to at least one other rock, so it's quite stable. Nothing is moving here, so I'm gonna be able to move it home. The only piece is this one. I can take this out because underneath this there is the opening for the water pump, so I can reach it, take it out, clean it. All that's left for today is to try it out, how it's gonna look. It's refilled with water again, and we're gonna see the waterfall effect, how it's looking with the hardscape built. Planting comes again in a few days. About another week has passed, so now it's time to plant this thing actually. And also I need to do something about the noise of water dripping back into the, well, let's call it pool on the bottom. That's quite noisy, so I'm gonna cut a small piece of sponge that's gonna fit in the part where it actually drops back and hopefully reduces the noise to zero. This stuff called hygrolon, and this leads water quite well. I'm gonna tuck this in between the pieces of rocks while one end is gonna actually touch the waterfall, and this way it's gonna lead the water out to the sides and I'm gonna have water dripping down all the way, not just in the middle, and that's gonna be good for the moss. Later on I'm gonna actually hide these with moss as well, so you won't see these lines. Another advantage of this material, besides leading water out, is that it actually keeps water for quite a long time. So obviously I don't want to listen to this during the night. And I'm gonna stop the pump, it's gonna be on a timer. But on these times, the more of this stuff I put in, the more moisture is gonna be kept in the wall itself. Okay, so a good lesson is that next time we want to use this stuff, we should put it in a bucket of water days before shooting, because it takes quite some time until it soaks up enough water to start dripping immediately. Now we're gonna go to planting. We're gonna go all around and put moss, not everywhere, because I want some of the hardscape to be visible, but yeah, we're gonna use a lot of moss. Simple terrestrial moss, which you can find in our website as well. It's basically done, at least with the plants. We have a few more details to finish up. I'm gonna cover all the sides and the front with matte black foil so we don't see the ugly parts. Actually, it needs a lot of cleaning before that. We're gonna finish up with the cold mist. It's let in here, just a simple tube. We're gonna pop in some holes on that so it creates the mist just above the water container, so it's gonna flow out over the waterfall. We have an ONF flat 160 from a previous project, so we're just gonna put that on top of it. I'm gonna leave it here for a few days and then bring it home, but you're gonna see a few shots of this being ready. That's it for me, guys. Thank you for watching and see you next week. Goodbye.